Hey everybody. I'm running just a couple of minutes late this morning, so I figured I'd come in and go ahead and start chatting with you guys and getting things all set up and started. I've got to stuff these flip inserts. It doesn't take very long. So how's everybody doing today? I see we have Jeff Dunn and Coin Hunter in here so far. I figure there'll be more stragglers pop in as soon as they can see that I went online. Try to get our coin crack done for the day. Right? Got 3 rolls coming up today. This first one will be the 1955 S machine wrap roll. Then directly after this, we'll be back with a 1960D roll. And then later on today, 1954S. You're nosy and needed something to watch. Well, I got it. You can interact with us as well, not just watch. Let me see what I can get done here real quick, and then we'll get right into it. I'm almost halfway finished with the flip inserts already, so it shouldn't take very long. You're all hyped up for the 60D. So I don't remember what time that is. Let's see, that comes at 2 o'clock. I'll be ready for that one. I'm going to be getting that one ready as soon as I finish this one, which shouldn't take very long. 1955S is not known at all for double die reverses, so we'll check the reverse side of the first 10 coins just to see what happens. But then after that, make the show a little bit shorter by showing the obverses only, because, well, that's the only part I really care about showing on screen. If we happen to find a double die reverse in any of those, I'll let you guys know at a later date, but I'm trying to keep the ratings for the non-boring side of things, or at least attempting that anyway. I know, sitting here listening to me talk about my reveal shows while I'm supposed to be doing one, and instead I'm stuffing flip inserts, is probably not the top of everyone's list. But hey, stuff's gotta happen, right? Hey, Jim Fletcher, how you doing today, buddy? Got Jim Fletcher in here. Mac is here. Eric is here. I'm almost finished stuffing these flip inserts. Get it finished in just a couple of minutes. We'll be ready to move on. This is exactly how much time and attention I pay to who goes into what flip. It's basically, I just lay the names out there and just start stuffing them in. And wherever people happen to be in the roll is where they happen to be in the roll. There's 48, 49, and 50. Alright, we're all done with that now. Got those ready. Now I'll get my nifty little machine. Now this is a machine wrapped roll for 1955S, but this is not an original 1955S roll. They didn't start using this type of wrapper until the late 1970s. 78, 79, 80. This type of wrapper is still available if you look hard enough. So I don't know how old this machine wrap is, but I do know that the end coins look like they were in pretty decent shape. Worthy of checking the inside and seeing what's going on with the inside, right? Let's see here. Wrapper over the coins just like usual. Go ahead with your question, Carl. Here we go. Pretty shiny looking coins. Alright, and coin number 1. Coin number 1 will go to Yeoman. And this is coin number 1. Not seeing anything here so far. Flip it over and take a look at the reverse side. This is a side that was exposed to the outside. A couple of die cracks on the left wheat there. Not much else. Okay, Carl. It is my intent to do that at some point. I have had a lot of problems with my printer, and I am unable to print like post-production quality printing as of now. I am looking into possibly calling someone in to have them maintain the machine for me. It is a large and very expensive type of printer, and it's got some toner issues on the inside of it or something. I've got a bunch of stripes that come up on the paper, and I don't want to print anything that's going to be for publication that'll have that issue. This is an RPM right here. This is RPM, I believe, number 9. 1mm009. You can tell because it's got that interesting die gouge on the top of the L. So I'm going to hold this one out. This one's going to Sureg. And on to coin number 3. As soon as I can find a way to get the to get these pamphlets printed, I will print more of them. And in fact, I'd like to print a couple of hundred of them, because I have enough people interested in trying to get one. A little bit of a greaser there. You can tell by the lack of striations, the lack of the flow lines in that area. You can see that it looks like the coin was struck through something very thin. That's what grease-filled dies look like. Alright, let me get on to the next one here. That's coin number 3. Now for coin number 4 to Lucy Ramelow. We have another RPM here, it appears. Maybe. I'm not quite seeing it, but it could be. Yeah, Carl, the problem with having places like that print the book is the cost. They charge almost $1 a sheet to do color printing, and that's not an RPM. It turns out just to be way too expensive. Okay, yo man, I will check it and make sure. Now that I remember, I don't think I have sent your invoice yet. I will send the invoice as soon as this show is over. Here's number 5. Joe Cathy gets this one. And this is an interesting little die gouge, but I've seen it before, and it is not an error of any kind. It's just a little die gouge. And it is not part of a die variety, so I happen to know this particular die is not of particular interest. Here's number 6, Marshall. What's Marshall get? Well, look at that. That's a greaser. Can't even tell if that's an RPM because of grease filling the area around the mint mark. I don't think it is. It's an interesting little greaser, though. It's in great shape. Let's see. Not seeing anything on the reverse either. So other than it being a greaser around the date and mint mark, it isn't much of anything else. That's coin number 6 from Marshall. Now number 7. Number 7 goes to Malcolm. And Malcolm's coin is not an RPM. It's not the doubled eyelid. Doubled eyelid would be 55S 1mm00 or 1DO001. Sorry, 1DO001. You got yourself a double die obverse if you could find that. And it is the only known double die obverse for 1955 S Lincoln cents. So this with... No, not that. Help me out with this, Eric. We talking about this coin with this gouge? Or are you talking about the one with the gouge above? I think we're talking about the one with the gouge above the L in Liberty, right? This one? Okay. So this is an RPM? I did not see it. I need to get back to using my other scope. Okay, so I'll hold this one out. This one is RPM number 10. What about coin number 2 that had the gouge above the L in Liberty? That one was definitely an RPM. I could tell easily. Here, this one goes to Eric for your time and trouble, sir. Let's see what I've got here. Well, actually appears that we've got nothing going on with this coin. You flip it over and take a look at the other side. You didn't get the notification on your invoice? Yeah, I don't understand that. Why PayPal sometimes gives notifications and other times doesn't. YouTube notifications don't work all the time. It's kind of frustrating. Adam Connor. Adam Connor gets this coin. And this one is... It appears to not be an RPM. Not an RPM. Not a double die obverse. And a quick check of the reverse shows us there's a nice little die chip in the left wheat. But other than that, no doubling on the reverse side. We're going to stick this one in the queue and get going. This one's for Mr. McBride. And Mr. McBride pulls. Yeah, it looks normal on this side. Yep, normal coin. Flip it over and take a look at the other side here. And that'll be the last one that I check on the reverse during the broadcast. We'll check the reverses of all of the coins as we do our recheck through the roll to make sure that nothing's been missed. Now here's coin number 11 with Lucy. Okay, that's what I thought, Eric. Thanks. Oh, here's another one. Is it? No, wait a minute. No, that's a spot on the coin. I thought it was a doubled S. It's not, though. I don't think this one is anything. No. Nice coin, otherwise nothing. That one's for Miss Lucy. Moving on to coin number 12. Robert. Let's see what Robert gets. Robert Pintoff. And the looks like it's not an RPM, not a double die. Hey, Jess. So yeah, seeing her name gives me a good reminder to let you guys know that there will be an auction tonight on this channel, hosted by our one and only Jessica Johnson. And also to make sure to check out the channel. Jessica's been doing a lot of hard work lately, posting videos about some of our most beloved double dies. This morning's video was about the 1917 DDO number 1. Beautiful, beautiful double die, especially if you can find it in much better condition. I have found, 2 or 3 of them, 4 of them maybe. They were in circulated rolls, and so the best one I've had. Actually, I found one at a show in Kansas City one time that was very fine. Probably the best one I've ever found. And here goes Bill Cresson. Bill Cresson's coin turns out to be... Hello, Jesse. Jesse Minter in the house. I think I saw you post a little bit earlier. Yeah, I think Jessica's doing a super job on these videos. Getting more information out there for everybody who wants to learn. I've been trying to get to that 1970S video, but I have not done it yet. I don't think I have an RPM here. I do not believe I do. Doesn't look like it. And for Sissy, this 1955S, nice sleek looking coin, but unfortunately it has no doubling on it. But it's pretty. Me likes. Alright, next up, coin number 17. Back to Eric again. And got a little bit of a dig in the rim there on a non-variety coin. Seen this die before. We've got the chip in the upper left wheat stalk, up in the wheat lines. Carl now, Carl Ignatz. And this one, also not an RPM. You know, now that I think of it, that one with the gouge running north and south through the mint mark, being 1mm10, is actually, that's one of the lesser common RPMs for 1955S, and I think part of the reason for that is because it's so hard to detect. I almost skipped over it as not an RPM. Nothing there, unfortunately, for Mr. Pintoff. 20 now. Malcolm. And this one also is not an RPM. No hub doubling either. Alright, coin number 21. We change our luck here. DN. Is DN going to change our luck? Well, perhaps so. It looks like it has a split lower serif. This is not one of the marked and known RPMs that I know about, unless it's number 3. I think it might be number 3. Got northwest to southeast die scratches above the date. We've got one die scratch extending west out of the mint mark itself. I am posting a lot of videos along with the help of Jessica Johnson. You can thank her for all the ones that have her voice. She's doing all the production, all post-production graphics and everything else on those. I'll be putting another video together probably tomorrow, if I can get to it, on the 1970 S, large and small date. Ways of telling the difference between the two. What do you think, Eric? I'm going to set this aside and get Eric to take a good look at it. Here's the lower serif again. We've got a nice little split in the lower serif. Let me bring it in a little bit closer. I believe we've got separation in the upper half of the mint mark too. Maybe. Well, now that I look at it nice and close, maybe I'm just making this up for my own self. Let's see, let me get this angle and see. Well, now I don't necessarily see anything. So maybe it isn't one. We'll sort it out later. I'm thinking perhaps not an RPM at all. Sure had me fooled. Alright, this one's for DN. Now, coin number 22. Coin number 22 for Mr. McBride. Let's see what Mr. McBride gets. And would somebody tell Jessica that her voice is just fine? She's got this complex about her voice. She doesn't like recording her voice. I think her voice sounds great. Malcolm. One for Malcolm now. Let's see what Malcolm gets out of here. Yeah, it's another normal coin. Unfortunately. See there, Solo Smoke says that you sound good, Jess. I mean, what do you want, Jess? You want a voice like mine? She's embarrassed now. Yeah, I got nothing going on with this one, unfortunately, but it is a beautiful coin. This coin's in very nice condition, well, except for that one gouge. Because I shouldn't see stuff before I actually see it. But this one's for Stonecutter, Mr. Dowdle. There's Sissy. Yeah, right. Good morning, Copper Coins YouTube. This is Jessica Johnson. Yeah, I don't think you would want that. That would make everybody go kind of, what? See you later, Jesse. You have a great afternoon, sir. Here's Deanne. Deanne comes up next. See what the coin is. Oh, this one's an RPM. I do believe this one to be an RPM. I think this is could be an early example of RPM number 2, although I don't see any of the markers, and it is a late die state coin. So this one may not be number 2, but it does look like an RPM to me. Let me get it flipped upside down here so I can see. Well, maybe it's not. I've got to switch scopes. That's it. I got to figure out how to get my better scope working, because this Dynascope just doesn't do it for me. Okay, coin number 27. Thomas. Finally over halfway through the roll. And Thomas, as it turns out, we don't have anything on this coin. Let's take a look at coin number 28. Coin number 28 goes to Sureg. And Sureg. So I'm looking at the slightly thicker upper part of the S. I don't see any real separation. There might be some separation on the inside there. That's going to be one we'll have to look at under the big scope to see. So we're probably looking at nothing, but we could be looking at a minor RPM here. All right, now let's move on to coin number 29. Mike Birchman. Mike Birchman gets that one's RPM number 9. This one's a 1mm009. You can see the split in the upper right. If you look at it very carefully, you can see that there's not a sharp point in the upper right serif. That's actually 2 overlap serifs. And down here, you can just sort of kind of see how the lower serif is elongated. But that's 1mm009. Oh, Bill. Finally found ourselves a third RPM in this roll. Up to coin number 30 now. And yo, man. Nothing here. I recognize the die from earlier in the roll. Got a bunch of southeast and northwest die scratches running in and around the date and the S mint mark. All right. That's coin number 30 now. 31. Jim Fletcher. I don't know if you're still around, Jimbo. Here's your coin. Nothing there, unfortunately. Appreciate it, Eric. Thanks, and I'll see you later on today. I believe you are, Bill, but I'm not sure. At the time that I'm doing the reveal, I'm not really paying attention to who is in the reveal. That came back when I was actually making the name chips, so we just have to watch for your name to show up. I do believe I can remember your name being in one before. Not an RPM or a double die. Hey, Jim. Well, you got a coin, but it really wasn't much of anything. There we go, Bill. You are in this one. How about that? And this is another one of those that has that, see that thicker die scratch south of the S that runs at an angle northwest to southeast. That's what I'm using in determining duplicates of this particular die, which show unfortunately nothing. Normal coin. Nice condition though. Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers comes up next. And for Adam Chambers we have well, it's another normal 1955S. Unfortunately, that's coin number 34, now 35. 35 to Deanne. And for Deanne we have, looks like another normal one. One spot below the B in Liberty there. There was a very nice looking coin. Solo Smoke. The way you get in on these is you show up to the Tuesday night auction. The auction's on Tuesday nights, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Toward the end of the auction, I open these rolls up to purchases of spots in the roll. It's kind of one of those things you sort of have to know what's going on in order to really take advantage of it. Here's another RPM number 9. Or I should call it 1MM009. It's not the Kaneka RPM number 9. It is the Copper Coins number 9. And when you show up on Tuesday evenings and stick around toward the end of the auction, we put these rolls up for sale. And I have a subscriber list of people who have subscribed for guaranteed spots in the rolls. So that means 29 of my spots in the rolls of the 50 coins are gone already. But the remainder sell at an open market type experience where I tell you what the roll is, I tell you what the cost per coin is, and then I do a countdown. And when I say go, you say bin buy it now, however many coins you want in that roll, up to your 3 coin maximum per roll. So if you say bin 3 or bin max, I would be able to get you 3 spots for that roll, and your name would show up 3 times as I'm flipping these flip inserts over and showing names. The coin you see with the name to the right is the coin that person gets. There's no substitutions, no irregularities, weird things, stock photos, or anything to that effect. You actually get the coin that you see with your name. If that coin happens to be a die variety, we will look it up for you. We will get a die number for you, and we will put that die number on your flip insert before you receive the coin. If your coin happens to be the nicest looking coin we've seen of that die in that die state, we will photograph your coin. We will give you credit for that coin on coppercoins.com, and we will annotate on your flip insert that it is the plate coin for Copper Coins, and yours truly will sign your flip insert, hand signed in pen, if it happens to be a new die, we'll put that on your flip insert too. Now, what do you do with that? Well, if you're one who likes your coins to be in professional graded slabs, this is another knot coin. You can send any of the coins that I send you with die numbers off to NX, and NX will grade your coins, and they will annotate according to the flip insert that I gave you what that coin is and whether or not that's a plate coin for copper coins. You do have to request that, and I believe there's an extra service fee for that, but you do have to request it on your submission form when you submit your coins to NX. This one's for Sissy, coin number 44. Okay, this is another number 9, I do believe. Yes, it is. RPM number 9. 1MM009. For Sissy. We got a few number 9s, one number 10. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn now. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything, buddy. Nothing on that one. Our chances are actually... Hey, Sissy, I didn't know you were in here. You never know when somebody's around. You know, those photos that you took of that lake are really spooky. Some people just don't understand or don't really get it. This is another number 9, I do believe. Yes, it is. This is a leader die state number 9. Some people just don't seem to get it that seeing lakes nearly dried up is not a good climatological thing. That was for Jim Fletcher. Coin number 46 is a later die state, 1MM009. And this one's for Carl Ignatz. Carl Ignatz gets a... This one appears could be a minor RPM, but I'm not seeing it on the dyno. I'm seeing what looks like could be a split in the upper serif. But it's so hard to see with this scope. We will be taking another look at all of these coins with better magnification than we have here. Not necessarily more powerful, just better. This one's Mike Birchman. And this coin happens to be normal for sure. That's number 48. And now number 49. Yeah, I really don't like to see how much the Great Basin and the West and the Shastas and the Sierra Nevadas are all drying up like they are. Here's a RPM number 2. This one is 1MM002. This one's a later die state, but not the latest. Latest die state on these shows filled 5s in both cases, both 5s. But you can see the RPM there. The RPM shows in the upper loop and on the upper serif. That thing on the lower loop is just of the S, is just a bit of damage. I'll take a little bit better look at it. This one's for Joe Cathy, by the way. Let me get this thing properly. There we go. So you can see the split on the upper serif, and you can see the split in the middle of the upper curve. Then there's a bunch of flutter marks running from the lower part of the upper curve all the way around to the lower curve, and those are just little hits on the coin. But there's your break in the first 5, and your break in the second 5 is starting here, but it hasn't really fully developed yet. Hello, David. Yeah, so that's what we have. That's coin number 49. Coin number 49 is a 1955S 1mm002 RPM. Now for coin number 50, Jim Fletcher again. Jim Fletcher at the end of the roll here. Let's see what Mr. Jim gets. Well, he's going to get a coin that's kind of browned down a little bit because it was at the end of the roll. And it unfortunately is not a die variety either. And nothing else going on here. Okay, I'm going to take a vote. I'm going to take a vote right now. Get your fingers ready. Type in a 1 or a 2. That way it'll just make it easier for everybody. Do you want me to do the next broadcast, which is supposed to be for 2 o'clock p.m.? Do you want me to do it immediately following this one, or do you want me to wait until 2 o'clock? Type a 1 if you want me to do it immediately after the broadcast. Type a 2 if you want me to wait until 2. So if you type a 1, it'll happen at 1 o'clock. If you have a type a 2, it'll happen at 2 o'clock, and that's Eastern time. Well, Yo-Man says 1, David says 1, Max says 1, Coin Hunter says 1. Everybody who's here right now, I guess, wants me to just fire off another show, one right after the other. Sissy says 1, Archaeology Mikey says 1, Malcolm says 1, Bill says 2. Bill must be busy today. Solo Smoke says 2, Andy Brown says 1. Well, obviously we do have a majority rule, and the majority rule will say 1 o'clock. So I'll give it about a 15-minute break here, and I will go into the other broadcast. You guys can find the other broadcast on the main page of the channel. Hey, there's Marshall too. Don't matter, too hot outside, right? Okay. So I'm going to shut this down here in just a minute or two, and then I will come back at 1 o'clock with the next roll, which is going to be a 1960D roll. Randy will be excited about that. It's coming actually an hour early. So I appreciate it, folks. Thank you guys for coming around, and those of you who won't be able to come back, I will see you next time. We do have another roll coming up this afternoon at, what time? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be doing a 1954S roll. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central time, will be Jessica Johnson's wonderful auction with Morgan's, varieties, all kinds of interesting stuff. And I'll talk to you guys in just a few minutes. Thanks a lot.